Dockside.
Episode
Dose.
Yeah.
It's
It's gonna be hard to, after a lot of these, we're gonna have to start looking before we do that. Man, it was a good month.
Oh, sorry if you can hear.
You guys had a little bit better month. I didn't make it down quite as much.
Yeah, I think, so to start, right, we left y'all at, right before we went into a big weekend. Had 3 days to fish.
Yep.
I know you made it down, I think you missed that weekend.
Yeah, I missed the big
You missed
weekend.
that weekend. You had some stuff going on. Chris, you were with us all 3 days.
Yeah, when we caught the big
Phenomenal. What did you see?
Yeah, I think you had this spot, and it was a spot that we didn't really fish. So it was like, you told me where you wanted to go, and I'm like, really? You're like, yeah, I think they're there. I was like, okay. So we went there, and the first day, they were there. And then we went there the second day, they were still there. We went there the third day, and it was just fire, nonstop.
Yeah. Trout up to 9 pounds.
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, keep some for dinner, but days like that just show you what happens when you take care of this fishery. Maybe a little bit of good karma even in there, but
Yeah.
when you take care of the fishery, we start releasing these fish and really let them grow. I mean, that's how we were catching 6, 7, 8, 9 pound fish for those 3 days.
We joke about it sometimes in our videos when we got the little, hey,
Yeah.
like the fish will be a 9 pounder someday, but that's kind of our mantra.
They don't all have
Let
that
'em all go.
potential, but
Yeah.
you don't know until, you let them grow.
Right.
No, we fished a lot of soft dines that week. We've been on the soft dines through a little bit of fat boys, and then even some paddle tails in the mix.
What were the conditions like that weekend, like for y'all?
Overcast.
I wasn't here.
They were very
The first day
overcast.
was rainy.
Yeah.
Y'all can actually look back to that first day video here in this corner.
Yeah, it'll be.
Make Kaylee put it in this
It'll be
corner.
one of these two corners up
Be up
here
here
in
somewhere.
some.
That video is actually fixing to come out, but y'all will see. I mean, it's overcast. I think it was just barely misty.
It was like your perfect trout conditions.
It was calm, but there was a good, I think like a 10-mile-an-hour breeze that was
Yeah.
just keeping ripples on the water. The second day, I think it was still cloudy. There was, wind had picked up a little bit and kind of changed angles. And then the third day,
It was sunny.
it was sunny. It was windy, and the wind was not out of a good spot, and we completely changed how we approached the spot. Actually came in sideways versus long ways. Made it tough to kind of stay in the fish. But once you found them, you were in them, and they'd actually done us a favor. Guys, these tides have been crazy low. I mean, 2 feet low that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Winter low.
Places that you'd normally be walking around knee-deep water and finding trout, you're gonna have to fall off because you're walking in ankle-deep water now on a lot of these spots, which is great because it takes away the body of water these fish have to hide in.
Yeah.
Right. Concentrates.
And you can actually learn about them. You can know where those holes are at.
But
We talked about that in the last Dockside. Is
Yeah.
the extremely low tides kind of concentrates where the fish are at.
it concentrates where the fish are at, but you got to listen to those fish because as you take water away from them, they're losing places they like to be, and they start to concentrate in other areas where you see fish kind of stack sometimes. You can be either way off of them thinking you're just going to fish a drop off. They probably moved a little bit, and they seem to really concentrate. It's just been the inshore fishing's just been great. That next weekend you made it down.
Yeah. Had a good weekend that weekend.
I think we stomped around in that same spot.
Yeah, you took me back over there.
We had rowdy weather that day.
Yeah,
I mean-
rain. That was where we decided we were going to go out in the morning, but then the storms were kind of
storms,
rolling
yeah.
in, so we decided to take an afternoon trip, a little bit different from what we've done before, but
Yeah.
it still worked out for us.
Yeah, we took I think we got out at like 11, right?
Yeah, I think we left at like 11
It
or
was
something.
a late
10 or
start.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 11, came back right as it was getting dark.
Yeah.
So soft dines. Me and you been throwing soft dines, fat boys. You've been throwing soft dine, fat boys. You're still kind of getting your feet wet.
Yeah, I've been
With the
going
whole
down
thing.
south. It's been working for me. So,
Yeah.
although
Well, you got
day
on that dines that trip.
Yeah, and the day that we went out there, actually switched back to went back to the paddle tail, Laguna Glass, because the conditions kind of changed on us that day. Remember, it started out cloudy, black and red was working pretty good, but then we got sunny, so went to the Laguna Glass and caught some nice fish on that one.
And that day, so
You guys hung some good reds. They
Hung some real good reds.
Oh,
And
that's
hung some
that
good
day?
trout that day too.
That day we were actually using the K-Wiggler ball tail, which we never used.
Yeah, throwing ball tails. So that day that was kind of the flip
Yeah, you
for
started
us.
with the ball tail, yeah.
We had been fishing kind of the downward drop off. The tides had been low. Like we were saying, that water's super shallow up where we would normally fish. And when we showed up, the water temp was 69 degrees, I think.
Yeah, the
70
water temperature
degrees,
went up.
even after the rain that morning. So
That day, like Chris and Kaylee you're up on top a little bit more in the shallower water. You and I were kind of working that drop. I was on the deeper side. You were kind of in that midpoint,
Yeah.
but I think we did a little bit better on that drop and the drop off. But then you guys, towards the end of the day, when they
fish
came
came
back
up.
up,
Yeah.
you guys picked them up over there.
yeah, when the fish went to feed, they came back
That's
up
right.
on that flat.
That's right.
I think that's actually when you went back to get the drone.
Yep. That's when I went to get the drone.
And then rocking and rolling with the drone.
Yeah.
Ryan is pilot one.
Figuring out that stuff.
Pilot one and only.
Yeah, pilot one and only. Then bang, we got took a week off. Had a kind of 2 weeks off actually.
Yeah.
Kind of
Bad weather too.
Yeah, bad weather during Kaylee's birthday weekend too.
yeah.
And then the last weekend, kind of just trying to regroup. We do have to take care of things outside of fishing.
Just
so
like laundry.
laundry, making sure we have clothes to wear on camera, making sure the boats were good to go. I spent the weekend actually taking care of the boat, and then
Gear and
gear and everything else. Then this weekend was
Go offshore.
making the best out of bad situations, right? So for y'all that maybe haven't watched the offshore videos, what boat do you have? What engines?
32S XS, sorry, twin Zook 350s.
The last time that y'all haven't seen us go offshore, but we have footage of it. We actually had tides that were so low that Ryan actually wasn't able to launch out of the marina, so we actually ended up heading down to the harbor to launch the boat after a little bit of a fiasco.
Which we normally don't do.
It was great launching out of there. Made it pretty easy. This week,
Minus a broken trailer.
yeah. So we had the trailer
Yeah, we had
issue
a couple of
last week.
not fun weekends.
Yeah, and then rolling into this weekend, barely deep enough to get the boat off the trailer at the marina you're at.
Yeah.
Barely deep enough to get across the bar at the marina Ryan's
At
at.
high tide.
And so we're dealing with all these issues.
At winter high tide.
Yeah. So we're dealing with all these issues. Think we finally, break out of the jetties, got the ballyhoo ready to go troll. We're gonna go chase these wahoo, right?
Finally, right?
Finally get to go chase wahoo. It happens.
Hey, life of a boat owner, right?
So
Even though you take care of everything, just something pops up. So 10 miles, engine started acting a little funny. Didn't throw
Yeah.
any codes or anything like that. Then
Slowed down, checked it.
checked it. Everything looked okay. Started going again. We hit about 14 miles and lost power on the port motor.
and sustained lost power.
Yes.
Never came back.
Popped a code that time. Says, hey, at that point, turning around, coming back in.
Yeah. So camshaft position sensor.
Yeah.
That could go anywhere from
We'll see what
a
happens.
bad sensor to a bad plug to a cam that's wobbling a little too
Yeah.
much. So
Or if you've had this issue, please comment down below. Let us
But yeah,
know.
normally reliable. I mean,
normally super
take
reliable.
care of it, do what we need to do, always, and then just
Boat only has 400 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about an offshore boat. That's really not
yeah.
Hey,
anything.
Could have been worse. We couldn't have
Oh
been
yeah,
at
much.
all.
I mean, that
Yeah.
was the story of the day yesterday. At least it happened at 14 miles, and not at 40 or 50 like we were planning on doing. So
Right.
So
that would have been fun.
had to make that call. Came
Yeah,
back around,
absolutely.
and then thankfully for us, right, we're sitting here grumbling and kind of about the situation, right?
It sucked, but
Already have the
Could've
plan
Yeah.
as you turn around. Hey, look, we're gonna go unload this boat,
reload this boat.
reload this boat, and we're still gonna go hit snapper, right? That's where Chris comes in. See, Chris thinks he's good at trout fishing, right? Chris's actual skill would be commercial snapper fishing
On a jig.
on a jig.
It's like jigging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like jigging.
Every time he dropped the jig, he caught a fish.
Yeah. Doing so we make it out there, right? Y'all will see it's so hard to tell on camera, but it did take us a little longer. There were some big, long
Yeah.
period rollers on our way out. Little boat, dog, 4 people.
Pretty heavy. We had a lot of ice.
Not the right cooler as we normally bring.
Right.
Yeah. So we get out there, start jigging. Ryan catches the first fish,
Threw it back.
and
I knew there was bigger ones down there.
Ryan. After that first fish during the intro, guys, y'all won't see Ryan anymore.
You don't want to keep the first fish.
I was thinking the same thing, but I don't know about that anymore. Didn't
So-
work out for me.
You start dropping down. What are you doing? What are you feeling, right? When you're looking
And you're
for
getting jiggy with it.
getting jiggy with it for these snapper, right? What are you doing? What worked for you?
I mean,
First of all, what was he throwing? So you had a Nomad on there,
230.
Yeah, Nomad Buffalo jig at
Yeah,
230.
230.
single hook,
Silver
Single hook.
and
It'll be up on the
green.
screen.
tiger scrape. Yeah.
It'll be up on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just drop it to the bottom, and you know, as I drop it to the bottom, I know a lot of people when they jig, at least with the videos that I've seen, is a constant up, reel, and that thing's going up, down, and you're reeling it up, and then you drop it back down.
Is it flutters while it's
Yeah.
doing
It does different
right?
jigs do different things.
So I think the first time I ever used a jig, I did it differently. I just dropped it to the bottom, and then I'm just pulling it up, and then letting it drop down to the bottom, and I'm letting it hit the mud, and then I'm pulling it up, and I'm dropping it to the bottom. And if I'm not getting hits like 4 or 5 times, then I'm reeling it up probably like 3 or 4 cranks, and then I'm kind of like in that
So you're kind of keeping it in front of their
10-foot
face.
range.
Yeah,
and
he
then
works
I'm
the
just-
whole water column for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
I'm not
and brings
really
it back
bringing
up.
it up past 20 feet, unless you tell me,
Yeah.
right? If you're like they're at 30 feet.
So
off the
we're
bottom
we're
or
looking
whatever.
at the screen too.
And I'm just working the water column
Yeah.
wherever you're seeing them. And but mostly I'm just on the bottom and I'm just jigging. And you know, I'm jigging up straight, but I have a tendency to think that if I'm coming sideways, it just looks different to them, I guess. I don't know. So I come sideways with it, and you know,
It
usually,
works.
yeah, it works. I
It
don't
was
know.
working good yesterday.
And so what
Yeah.
Chris is talking about there is, and we do it on all the boats, is you typically you have somebody calling out where the fish are. So you're trying to keep an eye on that sounder, and hey, maybe right before the hump the fish are down on the bottom, and then as you come back over the hump in the situation that we were fishing yesterday, the fish lift up on that hump because that current's bringing the bait or the nutrients back up to them. So we were calling out, I'd call out, hey, the fish are on the bottom. Fish are, the way I have my screen set up, you can actually go in there and change the settings, is that you can see, instead of showing how many feet down it is, I like to zoom in on the screens because we're fishing a lot of little tiny structure on a lot of these spots. And so I'll set, like I can, instead of the numbers going from top to bottom, I flip them so I can call out 10 feet from the bottom, 20 feet from the bottom, 30 feet from the bottom. That way when you zoom in, you're never losing the perspective of, it looks like there's fish at the top of the screen, but you're really only 30 feet from the
Yeah,
bottom.
it works good.
Yeah.
Especially for jigging or even dropping live bait down.
Yeah. So we one fish short of a limit yesterday, just ethically ran out of ways to ice fish down all those big snapper, and instead of just putting one more on the deck, called it, went in.
Yep.
And I mean, literally full. Filled up the
Ryan-
whole back compartment and filled up the front cooler.
Yeah, I'll pop a video up right here of what the back live well looked like when we opened it.
It's completely full. I mean, to the top. But you got to be able to ice those fish down, guys. First of all, it makes it easier when you clean them. But if you're going to go out there and do all this work, you got to make sure these
Yeah,
fish
take care
stay
of fish.
fresh.
Yeah.
If you're going to go harvest stuff, keep them iced. We're slurring all these fish. That way that cold water is actually getting inside of them, all the way around them.
Right.
There's no cold and hot pockets on these fish. It's something most of the offshore guys
Yep,
that
we do it
have
the
any
same way.
respect for what you're keeping, and it produces a quality product.
Try to do it with our swordfish.
Makes it better
as
when
best
you
we can.
when you cook
Everything
and
else.
eat it as well.
Keeps the fish firm.
Yeah.
When you're cleaning a fish and the fillet's cold all the way through,
it's
it
easier.
makes it that much better as table fare.
Yeah.
It just takes longer for it to get warm while you clean the fish. Luckily yesterday wasn't crazy warm.
Now that we finally have snapper back in the freezer, though, we'll be able to make some more snapper cooking.
Yeah, more
Videos.
snapper. That's something we were kind of hurting for. A lot of swordfish.
A ton of swordfish.
With plenty of swordfish.
Out of mahi.
We haven't really seen very many mahi
Out
this
of
year,
mahi
though.
haven't been here.
No wahoo.
Yeah. It's,
I guess one thing I was thinking about yesterday morning actually as we were running out, and then after all the logs that we saw, which Kaylee can pop up
Oh, yeah.
pictures of the
We
20
saw
logs that we saw.
Eight on the way back in.
And a big sea turtle, that would hurt too.
Oh, yeah, I'll show you the big sea turtle, too. He was sleeping.
So-
he went back down.
We kind of talked about it just a little bit. There's advancements in cameras now.
yeah, we talked about that.
Light bars. So I run a big giant light bar on my boat. I'm lucky enough I can put it up on the top, and it broadcasts very well. I can pretty much see in front of the boat as I need to when I'm driving. It's really useful in the bay. It actually works pretty well offshore too, but I have a very low bow on my boat. In your situation, we kind of talked about that light bar. It's not really going to broadcast over the bow well, and even if it does, I mean, even in the daylight, it's hard to see over a high bowed boat.
Yeah. Well, it's like I put last night. We took a bunch of those pictures, and I put something on Facebook on one of the local web pages that everybody kind of shares. Everybody's like, "Holy cow!" Like, we're not going to see those, and so it makes you think about running in the dark, which we do quite a bit. You know,
we do
test that.
It's that big ocean theory.
Yeah, big ocean, little boat theory. But yeah, you see those things out there, and you're like, man, where was that, or where's that going to be? Because definitely those ones that we saw were, like I said in the Facebook post, Widowmakers right there. You're gonna do some damage on them.
And we didn't. And Cole we were talking about this morning. Cole didn't even see them in front of him because he was trying to
Well, I think that's
pattern
the
the waves.
It's like, even if you have some of these light bars and maybe even a camera, I don't know if you're going to see some of those.
Well, and we were talking
have to
about
get
too, is as I'm driving or you're driving, it's like driving on a highway. You're looking in front of you.
Right,
you're trying to react to what's operating exactly in front of you.
Well, like when especially offshore, we're looking at the wave pattern too, to decide, hey, do I pull that throttle back? Or, we're going to
especially in a smaller boat.
Yeah, definitely. So even in my boat, you're still some of that management. So you're kind of focused a little bit more.
You're looking about 200 yards in front of you if possible.
Yeah, and what's coming right at
So you were calling out logs that were to our right, to our left, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't see that because I'm looking right in front of you. But to our point, that big ocean theory, we didn't have a single log that was actually in our straight line. Not that I was even trying to dodge them, just the line that we were on.
The only thing that was in our straight line was the turtle.
That was off to the side a little bit.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that you saw pointed out. Watch out for local wildlife.
Kind of where, ducks. Watch out for ducks.
Oh, ducks as well. Ducks are bad.
So besides the obvious, life jackets, first aid, stuff like that we've talked about, I think me and you have the same idea on the one thing that at this point we don't. And I think about this as we lose an engine, right? So you lose both of them.
It's the Garmin, man, my inReach communicator or some kind of satellite device, satellite phone. But I actually thought about that yesterday as we were heading back out in this boat. I was like, man, it happened at a good spot. We were able to turn back in, but what if it was 60 miles out there? Well, we've got the ability to shoot a text to somebody, call CTO, I have the number in my phone to
get it figured out.
We figured out, but we have backups to the backups usually. I have one, and then you bring yours too, so we have
we got
backup.
Yeah, and we got lucky enough. First of all, that we have AT&T and they didn't have an outage yesterday.
Yeah.
But also at 14 miles, you still get service, so you're kind of looking up the engine code and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you are way out there and you don't know what that code is, hey, does that engine need to get killed off, or can we keep it running?
Right, exactly.
You could have shot a text to Christy and been like, hey, look up this for me.
Right.
Get the response back, or any one of our buddies that knows about
tell me what it is.
outboards, tell me what this is, respond back to me, let me know. That way I know what to do with it. Because if you are 60 miles out, you're not Googling.
I know some people that actually have sat phones, able to call a personal mechanic.
I think Starlink has Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you get the Wi-Fi for Starlink if you can afford it. It's
pricey.
It's a little pricey.
It's pricey. Garmin's a much more reasonable.
Put in perspective, who do you think these guys did before all these satellite phones?
The guys that
radios. Before radios, you couldn't do a lot of the stuff that we do now. I mean,
for sure.
The technology in boats that allows you to go that far also came with other technology.
Sure,
I mean,
the dudes that
they weren't catching swordfish in Texas 50 years ago because you weren't going 100 miles.
Right.
You didn't have the fuel capacity, the range, these electronics to even know where to fish.
I mean, technology is definitely
the technology that lets you go further is also allowing you to safely do it. Maybe not hand in hand, but it's not far behind.
But yeah, I mean, I've gotten to the point where even in the bay, I take that thing with me because you never know when you're going to be in a spot where dead zone. I mean, I've got 2 radios, and then in my bag I carry a handheld backup, like just in case if everything really went bad. So always having an out, I think is
Zoleo.
Yeah, the Zoleo. Before we invested in the Garmin, we had this little.
It was Zoleo. It's the same thing.
One, but it was just a little bit cheaper. Got it on Amazon.
And there's even more stuff coming out nowadays.
Yeah. I think even now the iPhone 15 has a satellite emergency
Yeah, I
function.
know, maybe.
Y'all look that up. I saw somebody on a billfish board was posting about it.
Yeah.
That's emergencies only. It kind of takes away the ability to communicate. But the nice thing about the Garmin's too is sometimes we use them to talk to people if we don't want stuff on the radio.
Yeah, that works.
I
too.
mean, we're running
if we're
it.
doing something that's working really well, and somebody we know comes out, like they can go, "Hey, what are you doing?" We'll kind of give them the love.
Absolutely.
Back on that.
When you gaffed your foot,
That's what I was about to say,
we
when I
used
gaffed my
it to
foot.
text Nick and Katie
Yeah.
so that they could be there to pick Kaylee up when we got back
Right.
and at least get her somewhere. And we weren't waiting,
Right.
for them to come. We could start doing our stuff on the boat.
They were prepped and ready.
Yeah. I mean, they were ready to come get Kaylee, and
Yeah, it's definitely my number one thing.
it's something that I don't leave the dock without. Sometimes in the bay I'll leave it, but if I know I'm going down to the cut or anything like that, I mean, I make sure I have it with me. And it's just been great. But I guess to wrap it up, I mean, what's your number one thing in the last month? What stands out to you?
Catch my PB.
Hey, there you go.
What was it?
Trout, 29 and a half.
There you go.
Good fish.
Yeah, best fish.
We'll pop a picture of it up on the
Good fish.
screen.
Here.
Yeah.
You? What's your one?
Man, that whole weekend with those trout, just to see the fishery have the potential to be at that level for 3 days.
Especially after the freeze a couple years ago that
Yeah, I
killed
mean,
off a lot of the trout.
The freeze, the pressure that we continue to experience in our fishery from everyone else, and I mean, to each their own. Handle what's legal is legal, right? If you want to keep your limit of fish, keep your limit of fish. But that's one of those things that we kind of have an opinion about. We have the ability to harvest some other fish to eat, so we try to leave the trout alone.
Yeah.
And to see 3 days at that level of fishing, I mean, multiple 9-pound fish, 8-pound fish, 6-pound fish, guys. I mean,
yeah,
just
4, 5, 6 pounders. And what was your one this month?
I didn't really have one. I think mine was just regret and agony not being able to make that trip with you guys where you were tearing them up. I was busy. That's life, right?
Yeah, it was a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. It was just
I
weird.
just couldn't make it down here. Just doing stuff with my other businesses and stuff. So I didn't really have a super highlight for the month.
Yeah.
So but it was cool to see you guys get into them.
You're just trying to kind of get through the month.
Yeah. I had a really busy month. So.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you're looking forward to do next month?
Man, I'm still itching I'm angry at the Wahoo. Hopefully they're still around. Traditionally, they're probably gone by
Start to
then.
fall off.
Yeah, so I don't know. Looking forward to it. Getting back out there. I think I'm getting a little more itch for swords again. So try to go find that big one. I really
Some more
Big
deep
nickel.
dropping too.
yeah, that's what we were talking about. If we can stop spending money on other things, we need to get some electric reels. Kind
Yeah.
of get into that game. Go find some yellow edge. That'd be really nice to
Yeah.
tear up some yellow edge. Get into snowy or something like that.
And once we do
Yeah.
finally invest in our Tanacoms, we can show them how we set it up and
Yeah, we get a whole
process
series on
with that.
Kind of go through that in one of our deep dropping videos.
Yeah.
That'll be down below, so we don't pull y'all off this one too early.
Yeah.
But I mean, it takes a little. All the deep dropping stuff, it really does take some time.
Yeah.
You gotta set up your rigs right. I mean, preparation is key. It's not hard, especially with electrics, just to drop down and kind of get in the spot and setting up your drift. That's one thing, but as far as the work that actually goes into sword fishing, deep dropping, anything like that, it's really all preparation. You'll see that in this next snapper video. Is if a fish swallows the hook, we just unclip it and throw another rig on, and it's not the end of the world. You don't have to sit there and re-rig. It's just we have them made. We have a little pouch with these rigs
all
that
done,
on these
set
rainy
ready to go.
days, those weekends that you can't fish,
Right, get all set up.
Yeah, you make
What about-
these rigs.
What about you, Kaylee? What are you looking forward to?
I don't know. More bay fishing. Hopefully get maybe a flounder. Fingers crossed.
We had one.
Had one. I screwed that up.
I've seen a lot of flounder.
I really want to catch one.
Yeah,
I
guess
haven't
I would
tried
say two,
flounder.
yeah.
I haven't tried flounder yet, so
Oh, you
hopefully.
haven't? I wouldn't mind hanging a good 30-inch
Yeah.
trout. I haven't hit the big trout.
Yeah.
Had a
Me
couple
neither
of nice
yet.
ones, but
Yeah.
At a
They're hard
28
to find.
and a half. is
Yours,
mine.
I mean, let's talk about that real quick. Chris's was a 30. It's just missing part of its tail.
Yeah.
It really was.
Tail was damaged.
I mean, how
And y'all
much the
will-
tail was damaged, but I mean,
Y'all will get to see Chris catch his PB in an upcoming video.
Yeah.
He
baffin videos are heating up.
yeah, they're heating up.
Yeah, I think just March is traditionally just kind of offshore is weird. So
Very
don't-
weird.
Looking forward to next month.
Already
Going
did-
into March.
You know,
You said what your one was of last month.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's really just the opportunity to keep learning different stuff. I mean, we go out snapper fishing yesterday and learned something completely different than maybe I thought to do something the time before that. I mean, we were even, you want to get down to the nitty gritty, had Ryan changing weight sizes.
Yeah.
Ryan's like, what weight are you fishing with? I said 8 ounces. He's like, I'm way heavier than that. Maybe my bait's not presenting the same.
Right.
I mean, we ask each other questions, and if you really take the time to analyze those situations, it changes your approach, your tactics. I mean, I know me and you watch videos on tactics and approaches on speckled trout all the time. Not that we're bad at catching speckled trout. I mean, we're pretty damn good at it. But
You can always learn.
you can always learn something. You can always maybe hear what someone else is saying and maybe not agree with them, but spark interest in yourself about how you're gonna approach that situation. We've been successful on nomads. For who? This year and the last year we weren't.
Yeah.
Now we got ballyhoo. I mean,
trying to go back to the old school.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with all that as we go through the
Chris?
next couple of months.
What are you looking forward to next month? Month of March.
Man, I don't know if I'm really looking forward to anything specific. I think just being able to have the opportunity to go out and just fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really like
No, I'm kind of that way too.
I'm
Yeah.
addicted to it, dude. I don't know. I have a problem with fishing. Like
That's where all the time and effort goes.
It's all I kind of think about lately. Like it's been like that for me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like when you're working or there's a beautiful day out and you just want to be on the water. You know?
Yep.
So I
Mhm.
guess looking forward to just being able to be out there more.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
know.
That's good.
Yeah. Think
Agree.
think we're rolling into a hot year.
We'll see. We'll see.
Appreciate the support from everyone that
Yeah.
continues
Watchers.
to watch
Yeah,
and
appreciate
support
you
us on
subscribing.
all
Yeah.
platforms.
Yeah.
Keep it going. We got it. Webpage is up.
It is.
Webpage is up.
Start having shirts, guys.
SaltyGillz.com. Working on shirts. Working
Yeah.
on hats. You know,
Yep.
other little different things.
I'm trying to.
Is it up and have stuff on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I got to tie in is the shirts.
We got
Shirts.
a couple little to-dos to do to make it a little bit better, but yeah.
Kaylee's gonna start making hats.
Yeah.
Start having some hats. Just try to.
Maybe some custom lures.
Maybe
Yeah,
some custom lures.
that's
and-
definitely pretty much in the works now. Some of
We'll
the
see how
colors that
goes.
y'all see.
Keep tuning in.
Yeah. Some wahoo lures.
Yeah.
Bay
keep
lures.
watching. We really appreciate the support. We love seeing y'all out and about, talking to y'all
Yeah.
on the water,
Keep it up.
at Roy's.
Fishing show?
Fishing show,
Chris
yeah.
made it out to the fishing show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you might see us at another show or two.
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
I
up.
think we're talking about Boat Stop.
Yeah.
The Boat Stop show.
The boat stop show in
April.
mid-April, end of April.
Look up the Boat Stop Boat Show, guys. We
Where's
will. At least me and Kaylee were lucky enough to live down here. I know you live down here. I can't speak for you, but me and Kaylee will be there.
Where is it at?
Be wandering
At Boat
around.
Stop.
Oh, at Boat Stop.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Duh.
Kaylee doesn't know what we're doing, but we will be there.
I just work here.
I'm sure Chris will be there as well. Haven't
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
not spent a whole lot of weekends with
We're
you.
hoping Ryan will be there.
See. Never know.
Ryan may be there.
Right now, planning to, but
Ryan's buying houses and all
That
types
would
of
be the
weird stuff.
weekend
Right
where
now.
it's 1-footers, perfect conditions.
right, exactly.
Well, no, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday though.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we'll
okay.
So
tie in-
we will
tie
be
in
there
something.
at
Yeah.
one point in time.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram or Facebook or wherever we'll
Yeah.
post.
I know me and you talked about it. I'll probably end up at least parking the boat close by,
Yeah.
just to have it there. Y'all look through everything.
We'll post
and
what
then-
day we're gonna be
yeah.
there.
Put it on Facebook,
Days.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Cool.
guys,
Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notifications every time that we post. Comment
SaltyGillz.
down below. Tell them.
Hey, what are you
to
looking
comment.
forward to?
What are you looking forward to in March?
as your summer comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us what you're looking forward to.
Tell
What are
us
you chasing? How you chasing it?
Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
guys gonna do?
Where are you fishing out of?
Yeah. Where are you fishing out of?
Where you
Comment
fishing out of?
everything.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Get out there. SaltyGillz. Come get some.